at 89.3 Washington.
And welcome. This is Dr. Theodore Watkins, and we're here for another health segment, and I'm glad to be with you today. The opportunity to share with you a very, very exciting program today. We have a young man that I'm very, very proud of and excited to have on the show today. The famous welcome, Khepra.
Thank you for having me.
And we're here. We're going to share Khepra's new book, Paradise Health. And Khepra, once again, welcome to WPFW.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Why did you write this book?
Well, I wrote this book. I was following. I started eating a raw food diet about 13 years ago, and had did a lot of initially, and found that what I was doing, I made a lot of mistakes, and got basically disenfranchised with the whole idea of fasting. And so for a few years, I felt like, okay, my diet is just enough. If I eat good, that'll be just enough. So I don't have to fast. I got reintroduced to the idea of doing it.
Book, right?
But just got reintroduced, but doing it slightly different. Namely, the difference maker was using fresh coconut water.
Right.
And I found
that it made a decision.
Okay.
You know, been talking about coconut water and so forth, and but after reading your book, I decided I'm going coconut. So you have a convert. So you went.
And I just had the idea. It was so many people that were coming up to me and asking me about fasting and how to do it, and it's totally transformed. It took my whole diet and the way I approach food and my lifestyle to another level. And so after that, people were asking me, and then I began to see other people. For example, one fast only to return back to food and be out of control.
Okay, so we're gonna come to that, because that's really the crux of your book.
Right.
Now, I just want to say, mother last evening, and I want the radio audience to pray for my mother. She's 91. Basically, no medical problems, but the last 3 months or so she's been going down, and I think prayers, because she's on no medication, but she's dying, and so we need help. No cancer, none of that stuff. But I found your book as I was there at her bedside. I was reading your book. I found it one easy reading. Mm-hmm. Okay, mm-hmm. And I found it very informative. Mm-hmm. I felt that you made. You brought the audience, the reader, into the book, mm-hmm. and helped him to experience what you were experiencing, mm-hmm. and they could make the change. They could see themselves make the change. Mm-hmm. Although you said some rough things in the book too, brother. Mm-hmm. You talked about the addiction. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about this addiction. What do you mean? It seems to me that I read, and tell me if I'm wrong, that the addiction to food, mm-hmm. perhaps even than the addiction to tobacco.
Yes, because the thing is that it's so socially accepted.
Yes.
We're not even conscious of our addiction. We eat too much food. Because we're eating the wrong food, it allows us to eat 3 and 4 times a day.
But why do you call this an addiction rather than a habit?
You can say it's a habit. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's habitual. An addiction because once you become conscious of it, it's like you can't stop it. The body is in control. You have your will, but then you have your body that's saying, okay.
I've had people, I'll give a lecture and I'll be talking about some stuff and I remember one time I was talking to some preachers in D.C. and I said, how can you love something that's killing you?
That's right. That's right.
And what you're saying is part of the reason is because they're addicted to it.
You are what you eat, and literally it will control your thoughts, your feelings, and emotions. Therefore, that making some sort of change that's going to allow you to live and live longer, live greater, is out of the question in terms of the body is concerned.
Just yesterday, Khepra, and we're talking to Khepra, outstanding author and raw food chef here in the Washington, D.C. area. Just yesterday, I was telling the patient that you have to develop, I have this, my 4 Ps, and one day we'll talk about them. But the first one is passion. I said, you have to have important than eating, some people, their whole day, their whole week, their whole month is looking toward a meal,
That's right.
I just can't wait till I get to eat such and such and such,
Yeah.
addiction.
All the worst meal of the day, breakfast. They say that's the most important meal. Yeah, it's the most important meal for the industry. Early in the morning, that only just gonna. You feed the monster, right. And that monster is your body that's in control. You know that you should eat this, and you probably should eat more fresh foods, more whole foods, less processed foods. But yet your body, your mind is in control. Everything to basically, I think of this inconvenience. Basically, inconvenient for you in the long run.
Yeah.
At the expense of your health, your body, your mind, your soul.
We have to really change our priorities and, get a different. You talk about one of the things that you talk about in the book is fasting and feasting.
Yes.
Fasting and feasting. Now, wait a minute, brother. Now,
and they present the balance.
All right.
They allow for the balance. Life is all about balance. As far as when I say yes, that it sounds like an extreme, but if you're just eating every day, your body is working for a break, never a chance until and say, somebody sneezed on me or this. No, some sort of crisis. Your appetite goes away.
Yes,
it's forcing you to go on a fast. So my whole program is like, look, be proactive, incorporate regular fasting as a lifestyle, and I talk about the different ways that you can do that.
Yes, but now, when you talk about feasting, you're not.
No, you're right. Yes. I should clarify that as to say that the higher the quality and high quality organic whole foods, these foods are not as convenient. A lot of times, we need to support.
But they taste better.
They taste better. And the thing is that what I found is that you don't have to eat as much.
Yes.
And that's really the whole thing. So if you're eating better food twice a day, you should not have, really the goal for everyone listening is to say, I want to be able to eat once a day. Give your body a 24-hour cycle to when you put that meal into your stomach, eating breakfast. If you had breakfast this morning, okay, you had it maybe 7, 8 o'clock, and then okay, you're ready for lunch. The breakfast is still sitting right there.
Right.
You're gonna put body of all its energy, and if you're not moving and burning it off, then you're gonna go for the coffee.
Now, why is it still sitting there? You got why?
Well, again, our digestive enzymes, that's a whole other thing.
The food combinations.
Does
that make a difference?
Oh, that makes a huge difference, because if you're eating, like, let's say you're having a lunchtime, that should have passed. But no, we're eating bagels and waffles and pancakes and hash browns and that's sitting right, a salad or this, that, and the other. It's going to come right on top of breakfast, and your body is going to say, okay, it's going to go into shutdown mode. You're not going to have any energy. So what do you do because you don't want to go to sleep is you go for the coffee. So now you go to another extreme to try to zap the body, to try to whip the dead horse, so to speak. And then people become addicted to the caffeine pattern is such that they don't have any energy, you know. And the thing is that if you just fast, like, okay, we go to sleep. That's the only time people have to literally be asleep in order to stop eating.
Right.
Okay. So
and then some of them get up in the middle of the night.
Exactly. But we won't even get into that. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that we're getting a good 6 to 8 hour fast, because when we wake up, we feel revitalized, we feel energized, and it's only because we've been fasting, we've been resting, rejuvenating. The body's been given a chance to heal during those hours. So we want to extend that. We feel it's okay to feel a little hungry sometimes. Okay. And then, by lunch, we really feel ravenous. We really feel like, okay, I really feel like I want to eat something. And that's really the times we really should be eating.
All right. This is Dr. Theodore Watkins. This is your health segment, Khepra. And Khepra is an author of the book Paradise Health. Paradise Health. He's also a raw food chef. What's the name of your facility?
It's Khepra's Raw Food Juice Bar.
All right. Mm-hmm. It's Fifth Street Northeast. And, my wife said, tell you that she loves your food.
Okay,
we
thank
came
you.
in, he loves it.
Okay, great.
And I'm very, very picky,
Okay.
See, I talked about the taste with the organic. Now, I think the point you were making primarily is the organic is good for you. Mm-hmm. But the point I wanted to make, not only is it good for you, it's also good to you. And so the food that we want to thank you for the contribution you're making to our community. Now, sometimes, Khepra, we find that people are just sort of stuck in a mode, and they don't know what to do, and yet they won't change. How do you approach those folks?
That's difficult, because struggle between pain and pleasure has to be greater than the pleasure. So oftentimes with those people that are really stubborn to change, pain gotta take over. They gotta get a real real scare. Yes, but that's the reality.
But that's
just something about. I had a sister come in yesterday, and a comrade of hers had passed of cancer. Okay, and this was a woman who was relatively, she was there to sign up to do a fast. And so, what that tells me is that, that person literally can see themselves like in those shoes, when we think about life and death and how and if cancer comes in and, it takes over, then making lifestyle changes becomes oftentimes very, very difficult, but it is life or death.
Now, I don't know. You talked a little bit about why you use fasting, but, in my practice, I use fasting as that entering wedge.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Because once a person fasts, it's much easier to get them to make other changes. Number one, they see the tremendous benefit of the fast. Now we're not talking about just not eating anything, right?
No, because again, that's, the term you use is wedge. And even if someone is like eating a very good diet, like take myself for example, I've been eating raw food diet for almost 13 years. I recommend, I don't even recommend a water fast. I think it's too extreme. Yes, you will heal, you will benefit, but those things go wrong. I know people
you have to have expertise.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm right with you. We
yes.
We've been reading the same book, Khepra, but you're absolutely correct, and you get such good benefits from a modified juice fast.
That's right. Exactly, because into the body can get rest, but at the same time, you're getting just enough. You and in fact, with my fast, I have more energy.
Yes,
I sleep
exactly.
less. I mean, all these things. I mean, life becomes greater. And then the other thing is, it shouldn't be painful. It should be enjoyable. Eat. I mean, literally, there are thousands of options with thousands of varieties of those different options, of those different fruits and vegetables. And a lot of these fruits and vegetables can be produced in juice form. So imagine the possibility. Juice.
And you're talking about live juice.
Right. Fresh juices.
Fresh juice.
Exactly. So you really get an opportunity to really enjoy this process.
Right. All right. So I'm excited. I think that we're on to something. Feasting and fasting. But today is a special day, and we have another guest here that's going to help us with our special day today.
All right. It's a pleasure to be here with you, gentlemen.
All right.
And I'm here to remind everybody that we are looking for your pledge of support for this program. The number to call is 202 or toll free 1-800-222-973. The book by Khepra, Paradise Health, and it deals with a feasting and fasting guide to optimal health through detox. We're offering this book along with a live food demo. Am I correct?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. For a $65 pledge. So give a generous pledge to WPFW by calling 202 or toll free 1-800-222-9739. If we can get 5 callers now, we will be on our way to reaching your goal today.
All right. Well, we're excited, and I'm telling you, the listeners want to get this book, and they also want to be able to sit with Khepra and experience the food, because see, we're misexperiencing when we have these images built up in our heads that this thing is going to be so rough. Well, what's rough is and we get it. We worked all of our lives, and we're ready to retire, and now boom, here's this cancer, or I just got the word about someone in their 40s, died of a heart attack, and worked hard corporate ladder, and boom, they're gone. And this approach, feasting and fasting. Now, I want to talk a little bit, Khepra, about, so we want you to call 202-588-9739. That's 202-222-9739. I want you to call and make a contribution, because the work must go on. The work must go on. And we're here because we talk more about the feasting part. All right? Mm-hmm. Maybe even before we get into that, we can talk about water. Mm-hmm. Or let's talk about feasting, and then we're going to talk about water. Okay? When we think of feasting, mm-hmm. we think of something that's a high day.
A what?
Going to a feast.
Oh, okay. Right,
I'm going to throw down.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just an ordinary meal. Mm-hmm. So, but what I'm getting as I read your book mm-hmm. is that every meal mm-hmm. is to be a feast.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, the thing is that, again, we touched on the fact that we want to get, number one, the highest quality food that we can find. We want to definitely support organics. We want to support the local farmers. These are some of the best foods, and to be able to learn how to produce and come up with different recipes and things, to not just say, because again, when I first got into this house, and after about 6 months, I said, okay, this guy, I want something
it's getting a little boring.
Exactly. To make your own bread. So therefore that can lead to different things like pizza. You can use and things like that. So the raw gourmet, as it's now called, or the raw cuisine, that side of it. Then I was able to sit down and say, okay, let me create these things, and then I can sit down and have a meal.
Right.
Exactly. Because
unfortunately, saving your life gets old after a while. No. I'm serious.
Yeah,
I have patients who get started and they do very well and they get good results. And then they go.
And that's the emotional side,
right?
You know, because again, they're drawing back on familiarity. You know, what's familiar to growing up and what was comfortable. And then when they get around, I mean, all those things like just basically come up, and then next thing you know, okay, yes, they've gone back in a big way.
Yeah. And once again, just yesterday, I mean, see, this for me is a daily battle. You have to read, and when my wife's an attorney, but if you look at, I mean, she has but I'm telling you, the thing that she loves to read is nutrition, and especially raw. And then she goes, Khepra, down in the kitchen, and she makes this stuff, and she makes me a guinea pig, But I'm excited. Number one, it tastes good, generally.
Right.
Number two, I know that she's doing it because she loves me and she wants to keep me around.
That's
all right?
a blessing.
See, and so when you look at it from that perspective, when you understand that I told my wife when we got married that you are the nutritionist of our house, and now I'm the doctor, right? I'm in house, and it's your job to keep me well.
Yes.
See, it's difficult sometimes. So, but for an individual to do it, but when you are in partnership, then it makes it easier. But I don't want to get off into that. I just want to talk about this feasting. What kinds of things can you feast on?
Well, again, that's a good question because the raw cuisine is so unlike. It's similar the foods of today, and especially if you go out and you eat and you make and the food basically what's out there in order for us to draw upon. So, for example, again, if you look at my menu, those are some of the things. Again, we have our the things that people may be familiar with when they look at like fresh foods. Salads, we definitely do, but we're not just using like romaine or a lot of kale, a lot of collards. We're using seaweeds, sea vegetables.
Why sea vegetables?
Well, sea vegetables are really unique because they have. So if you're eating sea vegetables, you're eating vegetables that. Yeah,
I know they plant it. We better say this quietly because they plant it.
And so when we're eating sea vegetables, I mean the nutritional level is through the roof.
Yeah, I read someplace times higher.
Yes.
Than in the land vegetables.
They said they haven't gotten into the ocean, but yet. When we're eating sea vegetables, we make that an option. Again, these are foods that we really need. And, people come into my shop and it's like, okay, they want to pass on the seaweed. And it really tells me a story. Say, you are what you eat, but you eat what you are. So if you are basically, made up of a lot of processed foods and are going to be appealing to you.
But I've had sea vegetables made in a sandwich, and other than the texture, you would think you were eating a fish sandwich.
Yeah,
it tastes.
Well, it's the taste. If you're eating fish or you're eating vegetables from the sea, you're eating. Basically, we're looking for when we have a craving for fish, we have a craving to taste the sea. Not necessarily. It doesn't have to be right in the fish. It could be in the vegetable form. So they're like. Again, a number of, we're all, we have sea moss, we have, dulse, wakame, hijiki, aramay. There's many,
we've just begun to tap it.
Yes, the nori. These are food. And these are indigenous, we can look back at our ancestors and say, yes, our ancestors was a lot healthy because they were eating indigenous food. They weren't eating the, Fortune 500 foods. That's so if we want to eat more indigenous food, sea vegetables is a good place to start because again, if what you're eating was around 10,000 years ago, they haven't been tampered. So basically, when they say heirloom, when you hear things like heirloom or wild, indigenous, when you're eating sea vegetables, you're eating wild, indigenous. food. And so that will translate into your health. You'll have wild indigenous health, and that's what we.
Now, as I looked at the purpose of the book, that it's to be a guide.
Yes.
It's to be a guide to help you through the maze.
Yes.
So that you can get to this healthy state. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that you started with was water. Mm-hmm. Why water?
Well, water is life.
Chapter is entitled "The Business of Water." That was your first, dealing with water. The business of water. Mm-hmm. What are we talking about, Khepra?
Well, basically, again, through my journey, the water that we drink. I touch on the bottled water industry. Right. Water has become a commodity. And
it's amazing. Water and industry,
Yes. And the thing is,
but it's big bucks.
It's big business. And the thing is that most bottled waters, again, it's unregulated. It's more in the bottle.
Yeah.
And the presentation of the water than the actual water itself. Yeah, you don't know. It looks
a beautiful stream.
Right. But you really don't know what you're getting.
I remember when I was in med school, Bill Moyer's journal. I used to like that. And one day I was looking at Bill Moyer's journal, and he had this water from the mountain stream. Mm-hmm. And he showed the cool water mm-hmm. coming down. Mm-hmm. But they took the water and tested it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now it was way out in all these pesticides in it. Mm-hmm. They said, where do these pesticides come out here? Mm-hmm. And then when they went back and traced, they found this. They would spray the area. It would carry the pesticides down into the ground. They got into the here we're taking this mountain water, mm-hmm. thinking it's so pure, mm-hmm. and it's full of pesticides. Mm-hmm. All right?
Yes.
Now, and of course the business industry, they don't care about that. All mm-hmm. they care about is, unfortunately, they care about making the money,
Right.
And I'm sure there's probably some good guys out there, mm-hmm. but there's so many bad guys that give the good guys a bad name. Mm-hmm. So, but you talked also, once we get past the business of water and recognizing that drinking bottled water, why not drink the mineral water?
Well, the thing is that it doesn't. You will get hydrated, but only to a certain extent. And the thing is that number one is misleading, and then number two, when you look at it versus say coconut water. Nature was making it more human friendly, digestive friendly. The thing is that again, if you're drinking water, that's great.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with some of the bottled waters out there. My thing is what I tell people, especially when they're on a fast. I think you're better off with distilled, but adding something to that, because mechanically distilled will add some lemon, some lime, and the other thing with
and that doesn't interrupt how the body handles the water.
No, because the thing is that when the most ideal water, in my opinion, is rainwater. Okay. But of course, in our environment, that's not possible, and it's almost daily. We can collect the rainwater. But the thing is that we're limited to our choices, which is largely says unregulated. You don't know what you're getting. Number two is that if we look at nature, like rainwater is a naturally distilled water. Okay. We look at corn, right? And distilled is known as soft. It's soft water. Okay. Mineral water, you see that mineral water, that's hard. Okay. Minerals make it hard,
and it's hard because it's
it's inorganic. It's inorganic, right? It's not in a form that the body can utilize. Minerals end up working against you. So when you're drinking coconut water or fresh
get those
juices,
kidney stones.
Yeah. The thing is that now these minerals are in usable form. These are organic minerals. Okay. We're drinking water that, so again, that's an important mineral that most of us are deficient in, and that leads to a whole host of issues and then we blame it on, let's say, eating too much salt or this, that, and the other. And it's really the case for most of our issues is potassium deficiency.
Right.
So, and that's because we eat too much.
Excellent point in your book, and we want you to give us a call at 202-588-973. It will add to your knowledge base. It will add to your life, and it will also keep this station on the air. Now, you make the point in the book how the processed foods, the meats and so forth, whereas the fruits, the vegetables, the grains and so forth are high in potassium.
Yes.
Why is that important?
Well, it's important to understand that, potassium and sodium balance each other.
Okay.
Get even the taste of certain foods. Like, for example, we look at nuts. Nuts are naturally high in potassium. And then that
Sodium.
balances, right.
But potassium is actually a salt. See, and that's what people don't understand. Potassium is a salt. Sodium is a salt. They're just two different salts.
Exactly. And the thing is that potassium naturally, it regulates, it relaxes, it does so much for the natural foods and put salt. We would be much better off if we ate processed foods, because the processed foods lack the potassium.
Right.
So when we eat, it's just like when we eat in the raw food, because I put salt in my food, and I put salt in my food at the shop. We use salt, and the thing is that we don't have to worry.
Sea salt primarily.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the thing is that we don't have to be concerned because we're getting so much potassium.
Right. Number one, extracellular salt, potassium or iodine, ion. Potassium is the number one intracellular iodine. So therefore it is very important to understand this balance that you talked about. And you made the point that when you drink the coconut water, you get all this potassium
and sodium, but in a perfect balance.
Yes. And then you get a much smaller amount.
Yes. Salt is not your enemy. Sugar is not your enemy. Fat is not your enemy. It's all in the right form. The form is everything. We need all these things. We need sugar. We need salt. We need fat. So when people ask me, how many calories does it have? How much fat? It's like, look, don't even be concerned with that. You eat food in the best form, then you're going to get everything you need. I
thought you really handled that very well, this whole issue of fat, because we get really hung up with how much fat. Of course, now the science is coming out, letting people know that heart attacks is not, but that these processed foods with all this inflammation may be even a bigger. Avocados are good if done in moderation.
Yeah,
and they also add a lot of taste.
Oh yeah, we need the fat. And
you said you made the statement in your book that you lose weight by eating these fats.
That's right. Especially, coconut oil. For example, when we talk about coconut oil, and that raises our hormones to a level where it's stimulating the thyroid,
right?
And the thyroid in a way where we lose it. And if you were taking a little bit of it every day or cooking with it, wait.
Yes.
Also being antiviral and a whole host of other things.
It stimulates the mind,
That's right.
It helps to prevent and reverse dementia. Coconut oil is the bomb.
That's right.
My HIV patients, my hepatitis oil, why? Because it helps to get rid of that outer layer of the virus. It helps the body kill the virus.
That's right.
But it's also good nutritionally, and I was glad that you made that point. But see, here we have all this information in this book. Taking advantage of this, but you got to pay. This stuff is not free. How can they pay for it today?
Well, can you hear me? All right, there you go. Well, actually, this station is a community radio station funded by membership support, but not everybody that listens supports the station. But not everybody that listens can afford to support the station. So we're encouraging those of you that 889739 or toll free 39 and give the gift of WPFW to yourself and others that are unable to afford support of this station at this time. That's how we've been here for 35 years and hopefully counting with your support. What we have available as a thank you gift today is called Paradise Health. It's by Khepra Anu, and it deals with feasting and fasting. About that, and I heard you guys just touch on the benefits of coconut oil.
Yes.
And will you be...
Perhaps. I use it every day in my shop. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Definitely.
sounds good.
It's not enough just to take the information and even to read about it, but to be able to come and to experience it, to taste the foods and know to what's good, and then to be able to ask questions. I think it's just a tremendous experience. And if we call in now at 202-588-9739 or 1-800-222-9739 and sign up, we can take advantage of this.
Sounds good. All right. And I'm just looking here at the book, and it's talking about coconut water, nature's master cleanser. I have a friend who now drinks coconut water like every single day,
Yeah.
and has seen the benefits from using that. I'm guessing it's tasty. I haven't tasted it yet.
Oh,
Is it delicious?
you haven't lived.
Oh, okay.
That's the number one food on the planet.
Okay. And
Yeah.
it gives you. Tell me some of the things that it does. Besides being
Touched on the potassium, and the potassium, when we look at coconut, thing that can really just make your life complete in terms of your body and preventing all some of the common diseases that are plaguing our community, the diabetes, the hypertension. Just by drinking coconut water, we can really prevent these things. And again, it's so enjoyable. It's so much in water versus was healthy.
Right.
They don't necessarily drink it because it tastes good.
right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So again, nature. This is nature's water. Nature has given us a water that is really tasty.
That the coconut tree has to bring that water in.
Yeah.
It actually takes, I believe, 9 months for the coconut water.
Yes. 9 months. That's right.
To become right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they say that it is the closest thing to the blood that we have.
That's
Wow.
right. That's right.
Coconut and people, hypertension. We throw these things around, but hypertension, it's hard to get rid of hypertension. All right, but coconut water, because of its potassium, can help to bring that blood pressure right on down.
Now we have someone we want to say thank you to. We want to say thank you to Marie, and she's a new member. Do you have the bell over there? Welcome, Marie, and thank you for joining the WPFW family, along with participating in the live demo. So that sounds pretty exciting. And you can join Marie by calling 202-588-9739 or toll free 1-800-222 into the station, get the tax donation, and know that you've supported this wonderful program here. Dr. Watkins gives a wealth of information all the time. It's always a pleasure about health. Listen to the guests that you bring on. And the way that we're able to keep a program like this on the air is through membership support. Now, I see something in here about mucus and disease. I'm very curious about that because certain foods, obviously, contribute to mucus, and foods that I happen to love, like dairy.
She's renewing, and we're excited for the contribution that she's giving. A pledge of $50 for, and she'll be getting the book, and we're so excited.
Awesome. So, and I too have a couple of people that first curious. I know we don't have much time.
Basically, food. Every food out there is either creating mucus or eliminating mucus. Okay, another way to think of it is that also, we have foods that are alkaline and foods that are acidic.
Okay.
Usually, are acid forming foods. Basically, we eat too much acid forming foods or mucus forming foods. That you can really use the same, look at them the same way.
Okay.
And the thing is that we're not eating enough alkaline or mucus free or mucus lean foods.
Okay.
Now, mucus is not a bad thing.
Okay.
It's the body's protection. It's the mucus lining is necessary. But the thing is that because eating way more acid forming foods or mucus forming foods versus alkaline or mucus lean foods, then again, mucus starts to
blocking up the system.
Yes, and it's latent. It basically blocks up the lymphatic system.
Right.
Okay.
And the thing is that it shows up of mucus that's sitting in our body. Ultimately, these are the things that are the seeds to things like cancer and hypertension and things like that.
And it's something as simple as arthritis.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, with all the mucus being produced, and so these foods that are not producing the mucus, and when you eat these in their natural state, the body is able to handle them and not produce the mucus, and it's so exciting.
And then one of the things, especially to bring it back to fasting, see, we start to see a lot of people only starts to eliminate it via the lungs, and we get congested, and then we blame it on germs.
Okay.
But if we fast, we'll start to see the mucus come out.
Okay.
You tell people, examine your tongue, especially in the morning, and you'll see a coat. We can work to reduce that.
Okay.
But it's really just a balance that we're playing with the body. We're creating a lot of mucus. Dairy, as you mentioned, creating a lot of mucus, and we really gotta basically control it, because it's really a monster. And it will destroy you. And again, it's really the seed to all diseases.
Wow. Of the thank you gift we're offering today, we want to say thank you to Teray. I think I got that right. Teray, renewing support out of Northwest DC. And we can thank you as well when you call 202-5800-222-9739. We just need to hear from 6 more new or renewing supporters to reach the goal, Dr. Watkins.
And we have 6 minutes. This book, we're just skimming the surface, and I'm telling you, there's so much in this book, and then to be able to sit, It's not the $65. Look at it as it can be a life-changing, because I'm going to start drinking coconut water from reading the book. Now, I mean, I have a pretty healthy diet, but reading the book has helped me personally as I prepare for this program. You understand? And I believe that as others read the book, take advantage of the seminar, that they can be benefited also, because there's so much here that that you have to offer them. I'm just excited. You talk about weight loss. We just have a few minutes, but we gotta hit on that a little bit. Weight loss. Why is that significant? And your approach to fasting and feasting.
Well, again, if it was mentioned, she brought up the mucus, and the thing is that we're bloated. We're holding too much waste. And the body will find ways to distribute it. It's being overworked, and it's being used as a waste man. For some people, unfortunately, that leads to being overweight or being overwaste. Being
overwaste.
Overwaste.
All right.
Yeah, there's too much waste, so it's keeping the waste lodged in we talked about the lymphatic system. So when people have that bloated look, we really, again, will naturally bring that weight down. Yes.
Eliminate it. And then once they do the fasting phase, then you talked about a diet that will actually help to keep the weight coming off.
Yes.
And you outline that in the book. So, those that
and I have recipes.
And you have recipes.
I have recipes for the juices and recipes for the food as well.
All right.
Yeah.
So that
people love recipes.
They love recipes. Oh yeah, look here, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use them, because and I'm going to teach my patients. Look, you got to get this book, and you got to get on this program, because
It's critical.
I have tons of recipes, but I'm going to use some of these because they're very, very good.
Yeah.
And you need to use them too. And so give us a call, 202-588-9739. We don't have but a few minutes. And, but you also talked about, you go into the importance of that fat and oil in food, things like avocados and olives and nuts and seeds, coconut jelly. These things you can eat.
Yes. Yes. I mean, we should be able to enjoy these things. We should be able to enjoy the good fats of life. And the thing is that, again, because we have a balanced program, we know that, with one and done kind of thing.
Right.
It's something you do just like you go to sleep every night. It's so important, so critical. Something I wanted to mention too, we're coming up on a winter solstice.
Okay.
And, a lot of people I know out there, use the solstice and equinoxes. The winter solstice more than anything else is the best time to fast. Our appetite should naturally be waning. So, this is another thing that I wanted to mention out there because December 21st, people have predicted it as the end of the world.
All right.
Okay, and we want to begin this new cycle anew.
All right.
And there's no better way than to bringing.
Sounds
we got a couple more.
Yeah, we do. We want to say thank you to a renewing supporter, Walter Milton, out of Arlington, Virginia, and this pledge is in memory of Amensa. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you,
Walter.
Walter.
Rest in peace.
All right. We want to say thank you to Anna, who is a new member.
All right. Thank you, Anna.
We want to say thank you to Donna, who is a renewing supporter. That's our good friend Donna, who actually comes up here and helps to answer the phone sometimes. And she said to tell you, Dr. Watkins, it's nice to hear you. She's glad she found you. She didn't know where you were.
All right.
Now you know.
Now you know. And we're going to be here every Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. And, we want you to give us a call. We just have a minute left, but we want you to call 202-588-9739 and make a pledge. So not only